Welcome back to Cord Cutting Today, where we break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting, including today, 2 new free over-the-air television networks are now live. We'll tell you which one was kind of a surprise yesterday. Paramount Plus and Max merging into a single streaming service. We'll have all the details. It could happen. Talks are happening according to reports. And we're also seeing a lot of other big news stories out there, including the first cable network to go from being a cable network to a free streaming service. Maybe there was another one I missed. I'll tell you which one is ditching cable television to become a free streaming service online. These stories and more coming right up, but first, if you want to learn more about any of the stories I'm about to talk about, I'll put a link to them in the show notes and in the first pinned comment so you can read about them for yourself. If you're new here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. Doing one or both lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here. So hopefully they'll recommend our videos to more people. With that said, let's dive into it. Now, we knew the new ION TV network was launching yesterday, but it was supposed to be replacing the DeFi network, D-E-F-Y, DeFi, however you say it. Well, good news, that network is not dead. It's just switching channels and switching lineup there a little bit. Now with this, ION Plus, which used to be a free streaming network, still is now available over the air in 90% of the United States. I talked about that yesterday. Most of the markets it's coming to are owned by EW Scripps Company, and it's replacing the old DeFi network. Now though, its parent company, the Free TV network, is going to relaunch DeFi in a partnership there that will bring you a ton of A&E network content, and it will be available all over the United States. I checked, and even though I getting the new network, I actually get to keep the DeFi network on what for me is my local NBC. Now I have a link in the show notes down below if you want to find out where these channels are related to where you live. You can just go to their website, enter your zip code, and see that, for example. But it's one more example of more networks coming up. Now, originally, the DeFi network that we're getting now, this new relaunched one, was going to be called Dare from the Free TV network. And I guess as this name became available, they jumped in and said, hey, could we buy rights or work out some type of deal for naming rights? And they got a deal there to get the naming rights to have a well-known brand bring its content there. But so you got the ION TV Plus network, which brings you even more ION TV content. And now the DeFi network is now available. Am I saying that right? Leave me a comment, let me know. All right, Paramount Plus and Max are coming to a possible merger. Now, we learned back last February that Paramount and Peacock were in talks to merge streaming services to form a new joint venture between Paramount and Comcast. That's important to note that Paramount and Comcast are not talking about merging. Paramount and Warner Bros. Discovery are not talking about merging. They're talking about a joint venture that would see their streaming services merge. Well, we don't know where the exact status of the Warner Brothers Discovery and Paramount talks, or the Comcast and Paramount talks are. But in CNBC yesterday reported that talks are happening for a possible merger of Paramount Plus and Max. That would see both companies get joint ownership of this new streaming platform, and the content from both be mixed together, much like how HBO Max and Discovery Plus merged to create Max, with a lot of their content coming there. Now, again, not companies merging, just the streaming service. This brings a lot of questions we don't have answers to. We don't know, how close are they to reality? From the looks of it, there are talks, but it's not like a deal's happening tomorrow. What would pricing be? What would the name of this be? What percentage ownership would be? Would Paramount get 40% and Warner Bros. Discovery 60%, or would it be flipped? Probably not 50-50, according to the report from CNBC. But it does bring that whole idea that, there are more streaming services than can be successful on their own. Paramount Plus is still not profitable. Max is, but they kind of put HBO into that numbers, which kind of fudges it a little bit. It's hard to know exactly how much of that is pure streaming profit, how much of that comes from the cable networks. With this all, I think this is becoming more and more common. We just saw recently a lot of bundles happen where you can get, for example, discounts on Netflix and Apple TV Plus and other deals, Peacock, for example. But that's a deal where you bundle all of them together and they're still independent services. This instead would be, hey, we're going to relaunch something new, call it Paramount Max Plus. Let's just say, yeah, that's a good name. That sounds like something people would do nowadays, right? Paramount Max Plus. I just off the top of my head. That would be its own independent streaming service. Still possible that maybe Paramount will continue on its own, much like Discovery Plus has not gone away. Even though most of its content is now available in Max, you can still get the cheaper Paramount or Discovery Plus only. We'll keep a close eye on this, but let me know. What streaming services do you think should merge? Would you rather see Paramount Plus merge with Peacock or Paramount Plus merge with Max? I doubt both are going to happen, but it does seem like they're having talks with the parent companies behind both. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think. All right, the Texas Longhorn Network yesterday shut down as the Texas Longhorn College University of Texas in Austin is now part of the SEC. Part of that deal was they're walking away from their cable network. The Longhorn Network was dedicated to 24/7 Texas sports. It was a joint venture between the university and ESPN. Well, ESPN also is joint ownership of the SEC network, and now that Texas is part of the SEC, they obviously want their games there. So they shut down the cable network, but relaunched it as a free streaming channel through the Longhorn Network app. You can watch it on their website, iOS, Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, all kinds of different places, Android, iOS, and more. With this, though, it's not exactly the same lineup of content. Though I wouldn't be surprised to see older games. It seems like most of the major sports, you're not going to, for example, see football games broadcast there. They're going to go to the SEC network, for example, because ESPN wants to get money for that. But it's a 24/7 network dedicated to all things Texas. Apparently, they had a big thing over the weekend to celebrate the launch or the move to the SEC, and a big stage show and concert kind of deal. When I checked out the free stream, they were rebroadcasting that. So 24/7 studio or content there. I don't know if they still do studio. I don't think even the Longhorn Network has done studio shows for a while. Probably older games, highlights, clips, and like coach press conferences and more will be offered there. First, though, major cable network. Whatever you think about Longhorn Network, if you aren't a Texas fan, aren't in that general area, you probably don't care about it. If you were and you lived there, you probably saw a lot of it. It was a pretty big network at the time. Well, now, though, it's gone. It's become streaming. I suspect other networks will probably be doing the same in the future. So keep a very close eye on that. What network do you think next is most likely to shut down and become a free ad-supported streaming service instead? Leave me a comment. Bally Sports troubles continue as Optimum Cable has dropped them. This comes about almost 2 months after Comcast has dropped Bally Sports. Again, raising questions about the future and its ability to get out bankruptcy. Has until the end of the month to come up with a new go-forward plan, which was the past one was put in jeopardy after failing to reach a deal with Comcast. Now, Optimum has also dropped Bally Sports, raising even more questions about its ability to make it in the future. Will Bally Sports still be here in a month? That's a good question. We don't know what's going to happen. Will they be able to even get out bankruptcy? Will they make it to the end of Major League Baseball season? We just don't know the answers to those questions. And it's looking a little bit grim right now, I won't lie. I'm no legal expert, I'm no TV expert, but I'd like to think I know a little bit about TV. I'm no business expert on this, but when you lose Comcast and you lose Optimum, and that starts raising questions about the future of Bally Sports there. They still have a lot of room, a lot of time to come up with things. Networks get dropped and networks get re-added. Anything could happen at this point. All right, if you're a Fubo subscriber, good news, they announced a joint partnership with NBC Universal, I should say, to expand their availability of content for the Summer Olympics. With this, Fubo customers will be able to log into the online apps for the Olympics and get even more content to use their Fubo credentials to do that. Allow them to get additional coverage of the NBC's Olympic programming this year. So if you're a Fubo customer, good news, you will be able to log in and use your content there to watch more Olympic sports through the Olympic apps. All right, if you're a fan of Spanish-related programming, Comcast has a pretty good deal for you. Comcast Now TV Latino has launched for just $10 a month and brings you access to 25-plus Spanish-language television stations. A pretty good price for 25 stations there. And if you want to get the premium version of Peacock for an additional $10, you can add the premium version of Peacock to that. A pretty nice lineup there. Again, though, it's all Spanish content. But if you're a Spanish-speaking household, pretty good deal. Check it out. Link in the show notes down below. The free streaming service Plex has added 7 new channels, including content from BET. If you want to find a full list of all the channels that have just been added recently to Plex, I have a link to it in the show notes down below. And lastly, before we get into the question of the day, we posted our updated guide comparing YouTube TV versus Hulu or live TV versus Fubo, Sling TV, the list goes on and on. With this, we've broken down some of the most popular live TV streaming services, not just of their channels, but their features. Several of them have changed their DVR services recently, and now you get ability to check that out head to head and see how it compares, which one is right for you. We publish this every month, update it. It's such a changing world. You find a link to that in the show notes down below. All right, question of the day. This is kind of a simple question, but I'm going to talk about a bigger picture here with this. And if you have a question for me you want me to answer, leave me a comment. Start with something like a question for Luke, so I know it's something you want me to answer. Today's question is, Luke, what is the future of Universal Kids? Now, I've listed Universal Kids as one of the most likely networks to shut down for a variety of reasons. Saw a big drop. It's a kids network, and most kids are watching YouTube and other stuff now rather than cable television. I do think that some of the kids networks are most likely to become victims of cord cutting first. We already see, for example, Adult Swim launching as early as 5 p.m. now. Have you ever, 5 years ago, if I came to you and said Adult Swim will start its broadcast day at 5 p.m. on Cartoon Network. The post-school Cartoon Network programming will be mostly targeted towards adults and older people now. There's been reports that Cartoon Network's primetime audience is severely leaning towards 18 plus, even in the 6 o'clock hour in the past. Because of that, we've seen Cartoon Network move Adult Swim earlier to try to capitalize on that as kids are getting home from school and turning on YouTube TV, Disney Plus, or I should say YouTube, not YouTube TV, YouTube on their TV, Disney Plus, and others. That makes kids networks extremely vulnerable to the future. When the people look and they see their average age of cable TV aging, they say, why are we putting so much money and effort into kids programming when fewer and fewer people are watching it? Look for not just Universal Kids, but maybe even Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and more in the future to maybe go the way of just being something that gets bundled into Paramount Plus, Max, and other streaming services. We'll see what happens, but that's my prediction. Well, that's it for today. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll be back again real soon with another video. Until then, take care, be safe. Have a fantastic day, everybody.